Alright, so if you've been on the Marvel Rivals space of the internet recently, then you probably know about the topic of engagement optimized matchmaking, or better known as EOMM, existing in Marvel Rivals competitive. And it's pretty serious because it would explain a lot of strange things that people have been experiencing for a long time now. Now, the developers came out with a video explaining how their competitive system works, and we're going to go over that today. I'm going to give my opinions, I'm going to talk about the things that they didn't address, and whether or not the problems that people are experiencing is a EOMM issue, a skill issue, do you just not get maidens? Oh wait, that's the wrong game. Well, that's going to be covered right here. Also, before we get into things, I just want to make a little quick statement here, and that is I'm not very good at this game, that I absolutely do have a skill issue, so I will make sure that is out there first, so that people know that no, I am not a wonderful player at this at all. I mean, you can look on my channel, I've got a video called The Joys of Being a Hard Stuck Bronze. Alright, this is a bronze take, so if you don't want to hear a bronze take, then I just want to put this out here before you go any further, and save you some time before watching the rest of the video. So within the first 5 minutes here, we get an idea of how their matchmaking system works, and what determines how much rank you gain and how much rank you lose. Now, I'm just going to say that everything here, and everything that's said a little bit further down the line in this video, very much proves that this game is in desperate need of placement matches. And this is something you're going to hear me say quite a few times in this video, that Marvel Rivals absolutely needs placement matches to fix so many of the problems that matchmaking currently has. And so, you can see, the amount of points you gain in performance points is determined by the average over 10 minutes. Now, this is not unheard of to do when ranking your overall performance in a game. Overwatch does the same thing, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Feel free to correct me in the comments. My problem, especially with this way of doing things, comes a little bit further, but I'm going to explain it here as well.
In Marvel Rivals, players are matched based on server node selection, team composition, competitive score. Once matchmaking starts, the system looks for opponents on your chosen server or servers. As wait time increases, the system gradually expands the search to higher and lower ranks, helping you get into a match promptly. The expansion is kept to prevent unbalanced games. Once we have 12 players within the acceptable rank range, the match is set. Finding an exact match can take time when taking into account all the factors, like competitive scores, server selection, etc. Since launch, 5-player teams have been disabled to protect solos. For other team size, the system opens up to more combinations as wait time increases.
Because of the fact that the competitive matchmaking prioritizes fast queue times over quality matches, most of the stuff you're seeing that people are saying, oh, there's EOMM in Marvel Rivals, is due to the fact that it prioritizes fast matchmaking over quality matchmaking, rather than finding evenly matched players to put together in a game. And of course, this leads to problems that we are currently seeing throughout all of competitive. Now, personally, I don't know about you, but I would much rather have better quality matches than fast matchmaking times. I'm okay with waiting to get into a competitive match. That doesn't bother me at all, as long as the matchmaking quality gets better, rather than finding a match within the first 10 seconds and having it be one of the worst experiences I've ever had with the game, ever. He then goes on to say that tightening the wait times would make a worse experience, when really, I highly doubt that would be the case. Punishing better players by putting them on games with consistently worse players is not going to make things better. As a matter of fact, it leads to exactly what's happening right now, where the team's fighting each other rather than the other team. Matchmaking has become more of a battle within the team itself, rather than against another team that isn't yours. You spend half the game trying to deal with throwers and toxic teammates and people who just are at each other's throat the entire game, and it creates an even worse experience. If you had a much more balanced matchmaking system that wasn't like this, that wasn't favoring fast wait times, things would consistently get better. Yes, you can rank up a lot faster in the lower ranks, but if you aren't already playing at a much higher skill level, it is not going to be super easy to get out of the low ranks. I heard an argument from Flats, who said that it should be very easy to rank up out of the low ranks because of the fact that your performance points count way more towards the amount of rank you gain at the end of a win. But that's the thing, you only get that at the end of a win, and if you constantly play extremely well. And while this does kind of dispute the whole EOMM thing, in Marvel Rivals, proving that it is indeed a skill issue for most players. It also shows that there is a desperate need for placement matches, because once you are in these lower ranks, unless you are playing several ranks ahead of what you already are, it's going to be very difficult to climb out unless you are queued in a team rather than going solo queue. It is very possible to breeze through these ranks, but most of the people who do that are already several ranks higher in their skill level than where they are placed. So for example, if you're, say, a high gold or a platinum, it is absolutely going to be a breeze to get through bronze. If you are a diamond, it's going to be a breeze to get through silver, and so on. Since most of the people who are saying that it's not hard to get out of bronze, silver, and gold are already several ranks ahead of those. And if we had placement matches, it would be much easier to tell where you actually are compared to trying to climb a ladder, with most of the players being placed anywhere from silver to platinum. Ranking systems with placement matches also aren't perfect. They have their own flaws, just like this one, but to be honest, in a game like this, trying to climb a ladder that just seems like it's never ending because of the way the ranking system favors quicker match times over quality match times just seems like something that's just going to kill the game. Now, at least from what I've seen with placement matches, it usually takes a couple of seasons of competitive for the developers to really iron out the kinks in their system, but it does tend to work out in the end. Far better than whatever is going on right here. And the problem right now, at least in lower ranks, is people who main healers are pretty much at the mercy of the rest of their team. As a matter of fact, that's kind of the case in Overwatch as well. And if they don't have good damage heroes, or the tanks aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you're having to heal out of your mind, meanwhile somebody's screaming at you because you aren't healing them enough, even though you're getting completely demolished by a Black Panther or a Psylocke or a Magic because nobody's protecting the back line. Win and loss streaks. Now, this is one of the things that I very much noticed recently when I went on a 15-game loss streak. Now, granted, that was mixed with competitive and casual games, but it is still just very weird. I know I'm bad at the game, and, you know, you could just chalk it up to that, which it's possible that that's what it was. Or I just had the worst luck for a while. But to be honest, normal matchmaking systems, your wins and losses, typically don't look like this. Again, I'm not saying that it's not a skill issue. It probably is a skill issue. I mean, it's me, after all. This is my win-loss history. So it could very easily be that, and I would not put it off as not being that. But these massive win and loss streaks, they aren't just super uncommon. They happen to a lot of people that I've seen, and of course there's not much you can do about it besides just stop playing the game and come back another day, which usually is not easy to do when you really want to play the game. And it's one of the things that feeds into this theory that Rivals uses EOMM. Now, there's probably more they're not telling us. I mean, let's face it, bot games are still a thing in quick play. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then consider yourself the one of the lucky few who has not experienced this. Now, why would I care anything about what happens in quick play with AI matches? Well, for one, I'm playing quick play, so I want to play against actual people and not AI. If I wanted to play against AI, I would just go to an AI match. Basically, what'll happen is you'll have 4 players, as in real people on your team, including yourself, and then you'll have 2 bots on your team, 2 AI accounts. On the opposing team, you'll have 6 AI accounts. You won't be playing against any real people. And these games are very obvious because all the opposing players move like AI, they aim like AI, they don't speak, they don't interact with you. Type AI check in the chat and wait, and of course nothing will happen because you're playing against AI, you're not playing against real people. Just recently, I have caught 2 of these games on recording, which I'm going to play throughout the video. This way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And the thing about those games is that, yeah, you could just say it's quick play, you're just there to practice, which I agree with. I think quick play is just simply something where people who don't want to take the game seriously, or people who are just practicing with a hero they don't normally use, or people who are warming up for competitive. I think that's more or less what quick play should be about, and nothing else. And of course, sometimes it's very frustrating to have people throwing the game, making it so bad to where you can't even practice with the hero that you were trying to practice with. But the thing is, I don't want to play against AI. AI does not behave like regular people, and it never will because it's AI. It's only going based off of logic from whatever it's been fed from whatever information source that it got its information from on how to play the game. You'll also notice that in every single one of these games, the AI accounts will have their profiles privated. They used to not be, and you could go onto them, and you could see that they were just brand new accounts like level 4, level 7, level 12, 14, 11. They're brand new accounts pretty much, and they always have similar names. They're always titled very similarly. Occasionally you'll have the oddball name, but generally you'll pretty much know when these are AI opponents. Now, these are the first 2 AI matches that I've gotten into in several months. I actually thought they ended this, but it's becoming obvious that they are continuously flooding the servers with these AI matches to boost engagement. Now, luckily, these are not in competitive, at least from my experience, but it just doesn't sit right with me, and I'm sure it probably doesn't sit right with other people either, that if they're willing to flood the matchmaking in quick play with AI accounts, then what else are they willing to do in competitive? Now, this could be said for a lot of things, so some of it is just simply a skill issue, again, and I think a lot of the sentiment towards the matchmaking system is just simply skill issues, coming from someone who has a skill issue themselves with this game, and I think it's something that most people should do, is just take a step back and look at what are they doing and could they have done anything better. But sometimes it is just teammates, and sometimes it is just luck, and sometimes you just can't control the outcomes. But it doesn't mean that there isn't something weird going on. And I will say it again, if they are willing to put AI matches in quick play, then what else are they willing to do in competitive to keep people engaged playing their game? At some point, I feel like this is going to boil over, and people are just going to start leaving rivals in droves, sort of like what happened with Overwatch with all of its problems. I mean, at least they addressed the problem, NetEase, but pretty much all they did was give a brief explanation on some of the things that people had questions about and just ignored the rest. I don't really have very much else to say in this video besides what I've already said. Anyway, I'm going to go back to consistently dying as Blade, trying to learn how to play him. So, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.